What's going on, everybody? Michael McFarland here, the Lake Fork Guide. Going to give you a public rundown. Tuesday, April 12th. Let's get right on to it. As usual, the board. We're going to start with lake level because when I left you last, which I believe would have been Thursday, we had a significant rise in the water. We had come up 3 inches. For whatever reason, between Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we dropped back 1 inch. And the lakes kind of remained stable from there. But realistically, Monday was 39688. That really was there Saturday, Sunday. And today, 39687. So a very, very stable lake right now. Water clarity's kind of about the same, 0 to 1 foot, depends on where you are. Main lake's kind of getting clearer, has that beautiful Lake Fork green in most places. Some of the backwaters are clearing a little bit from that heavy rain that we had last Monday, Tuesday. And the water temperatures, again, are really, really stabilized as well. 62, 64 is what I'm seeing in the main lake. Remember that I generally give you 2 numbers here. It's the morning when I launch and at the end of the day when I come off. And it's the main body. I try not to give too much more than that because several things. But if I tell you what the backwaters are today, they probably are up in the 70s. There's a lot of Lake Fork, 39 miles of Lake Fork. You could go all the way up Little Caney Creek, and you probably could see some definite 70-degree water. It can change a lot. So I just try and give you the core temperature, the main core, and then you can kind of pay attention to the weather trending that we're having and make a judgment of what the backwaters would be. So in other words, the last few days have been warm, warm, warm. So the backwaters are probably warmer than the main lake. We end up having a couple cold fronts move through. The shallow backwaters change very quickly. And even though the main lake may be in this parameter, those shallow backwaters can change faster than the main lake this time of year. Also, we get a lot of rain and floods. Got another big doozy coming through tonight around 7:30, 8 o'clock. Hope it brings some good rain because we could use the water. And they are done with the dam. The dam repairs are basically finished, at least above water level. The cap of 397 elevation has been lifted, as we talked about before. So any water, we're going to hold it. They're not going to dump it. So let's hope for some heavy rains tonight. It's only a quick one. It comes through in about an hour and a half, but it looks pretty violent. Can dump some good water and give us another couple inches. Remember, the rising water rises the fish. And during this spawn right now, it's the best thing that can happen. The fish are spawning. There are a bunch of fish. With the moon, the full moon that's happening here in the next couple of days, there are fish that you're not really going to see them. You could probably see them with live scope if you have the live scope. And it doesn't matter whether you have Garmin, Lowrance, or Humminbird. If you know how to use that forward imaging, you can go in those backwaters and most definitely see those big fish showing up. The males have been in the backwaters for quite some time, 2, 3, 4 weeks. But now the females are really showing up in those places. So the spawn is absolutely on. In just some of the waters, you can go all the way up in Running Creek, all the way up in Coffee Creek. You can go in the back of Rogers, the back of Long Branch, the back of Birch, the back of Dale. Really get any of those spawning flats and those spawning areas. Now the difference is the lake is low. So you don't have the buckbrush, you don't have the bulrushes. It's all about the timber. Lay down trees, stumps, bigger stumps. That's really, you have to pitch and flip the wood. They're spawning mostly next to stumps, okay? But basically, again, lake levels look good. Lake is in good condition. The weather, tonight, again, a big storm coming. Hope that brings rain. Tomorrow, 55% chance of thunderstorms throughout the day. It kind of really hits and miss. We could have some severe thunderstorms with a low temperature of 45 and 86. And 15 to 25 mile an hour winds. If you're coming out tomorrow, be really careful. Thursday kind of stabilizes. We got 5 to 10 mile an hour winds, 54, 76 for your temperature parameter. And again, Friday, same thing, kind of really good weather, 65, 82, 10 to 20 mile an hour winds. Those are pretty common for the lake this time of year. Mark Pack used to always say, if you don't like the wind on Fork, then you better get used to it or go somewhere else, because especially in April. It blows in April. It's just how it is. The last 2 days have had big winds, rolling waves, but we've crushed the bass. This morning we had a 5 fish limit for about 25, 26 pounds in 30 minutes fishing big water. Waves were coming up over the back of the boat. literally bilge pump running. If you're under trolling motor, the bows coming up and crashing down. But we power pulled down, took the waves over the back, threw the baits to the shorelines, real shallow, and crushed the big fish this morning. But again, let's kind of draw you back to the bite. I want to share a little bit of the bite. And when these fish are spawning, some of you know where to go look. And with this low lake, a lot of us, it's a new lake to you, so you got to find it. And one of the best ways to find it is to tie on a spinnerbait, tie on a chatterbait, tie on, I want to say a square bill, but a square bill is going to get you hung up a lot more. It's a good search bait, but it's not really a good spawn search bait. Chatterbait is an excellent spawning search bait. Females don't like it. It's obnoxious. It makes a rattling, ticking noise with that head. The chatterbait itself is obnoxious. So use it as a search bait. Cover a lot of water with it. When you get bit, make a few waypoints. Maybe don't stop right away, but it's a search bait so that you can find some fish and then come back to those specific areas and slow down with your Texas rigs, your wacky rigs, and your jigs. I'm finding that when you are in those backwaters, if you're in the higher winds, you're going to have to use a little heavier baits, meaning 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce jig or 1/2 ounce Texas rig. But if you can get away with the lighter, the better. If you're in a calmer backwater, the lighter seems to be better. A 1/4 ounce jig, a 1/4 ounce sandtone grass jig in a brim color is going to work really good on some of those spawning fish that you can't see. You may be able to see some visual bedding in some of the areas down south. The water seems to be a little bit clearer there. But realistically, the Texas rigs and wacky worms, that's probably your best bet to catch those spawning bass, okay? One last thing about safety on Lake Fork, man. I see a lot of people making big mistakes out there. I even made them sometimes myself by not running the right side of the buoys and things like that to pass somebody. Man, the lake is low. And I've asked the game wardens before, what do you do when you're following a pontoon boat? And, we're running 50, 60, the pontoon's running 20. We're in the buoy lines, and can we pass? Is it able to pass? Are we legal to pass? And yes, you can pass. But remember that you really should be passing on the right side, just like you really counterclockwise. You can't cross on that left side because you're going into oncoming traffic, and a lot of other reasons. So any which way, with the lake being as low as it is, man, it can get you in a pickle in a real quick hurry. So you start trying to pass somebody and you're immediately out into the wood. If something goes wrong or you've made an evasive move, you're instantly into potentially a lot of wood and a lot bigger problem. So first of all, take a little more care when you're running the lake. Don't run so fast. Number two, if you don't know the lake, if you don't already have some form of boat lanes, guide lanes, etc., I highly suggest you get the very, very best there is. Right here, Lake Fork Super Trails. Right, this is endorsed and used by MLF anglers and BASS Elite anglers. It's approved by them, and they use this on our lake. All right, this is the very best you can buy right now. It's $60 at Lake Fork Marina, Axton's Marina, Fisherman's Choice, Fisherman's Cove. You can find this pretty much around the lake. It's a simple SD card that's going to download into your unit. It's available for Lowrance, Humminbird Helix, Solix, and any moment now, the Garmin version will be out. So go to Lake Fork Marina, go to Axton's, get you this right here. Lake Fork Super Trails, the best there is. Keep you safe. Get you into the backwaters and get you in those right places without hitting stumps, without bumping stumps, and wrecking your boat. All right. Another little thing about the bite, the up and coming bite, I'm trying to make sure that you the public subscribers, know that I love you just as much as the members only. So I'm trying to share some good information and prepare you if you have a trip coming here. The shad spawn's about to happen. I love the shad spawn here on Lake Fork. A couple of the ideas just to prep yourself. Underspins, square bills, obviously in the shad colors. When I say shad spawn, I'm talking about the thread fin shad spawn. So now we're going to use a little smaller baits. We're going to use much smaller baits like the 1.5 or the 2.0 square bill versus the big one. When the gizzard shad are spawning, it's a whole different scenario. But you're going to have a little bit of both. Gizzard shad are still spawning, and they're still in the shallow waters doing their thing. But the thread fin are about ready to start doing it. And in fact, I'm seeing signs of them coming in, seeing them teaming and being in the shallow areas where they spawn. So also, a top water bite. By the time we get up to about 68 degrees, you see that water up there, 68 degrees, you need to be ready to throw the top waters. And those top water poppers like the Yellow Magic, the Ricos, even just a little Rebel popper can really be deadly. But in my opinion, the best on Lake Fork would be any walking bait, whether it be a KVD Strike King or the Heaven Zero Spook. So the walking baits really work well. And another little tip I'm going to give you, shows you that I love you, subscribers, public subscribers. I'm giving up a tip here, is basically the Whopper Plopper. When you see that water hit 68 degrees, you ought to be throwing a Whopper Plopper on Lake Fork, okay? If you want to know more about colors, about locations, exactly how to use baits like that, what am I using? What is McFarland's Fishing using to catch the fish that we're catching right now? If you follow us on Instagram, The Lake Fork Guide, or on Facebook, Lake Fork Adventures Guide Service, then you're very aware that we are hammering the fish. We are very, very blessed right now, having great success on a daily basis, and we're catching the heck out of these big Lake Fork specials. A Lake Fork special is a 4 to 7 pound bass. Okay, anything bigger than a 7 pound bass, I call it a big one, and anything over that's a giant double digit. And anything, of course, under 4 pounds, we call them cookie cutters. But we are crushing the fish. The numbers are good. The big fish are there. If you want to know exactly what I'm doing, I spill my guts in the members only channel. The members only subscription is $4.99 a month. Just hit the join button right there. If you're on your laptop or desktop, it's real easy. Hit the join button, follow the procedures. If you're from a mobile app, it's a little tricky. I recommend that you just go to your desktop and do it. But members only. It's a personal invite to learn more. Also, there will be lessons and other things, fish catches, things that you cannot see in the public subscribing channel. Okay, so hit the thumbs up if you like it. Comment below if you have anything to say. Hopefully it's good stuff and you're enjoying it. Don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the public channel, please do subscribe. And I wish you all great fishing. Be safe. If you catch a big one, share it with me. I'd love to hear about it. I'm Mike McFarland, the Lake Fork Guide, McFarlandFishing.com. Wishing you the best.